Yeah. Okay, so our speaker today, and I recognized him instantly when he came in. He has his dress Levi's on. So take note, if nothing else. Note that. Anyway, so our speaker is a well-versed practitioner and teacher of the Enneagram. And he knows his type, so watch out. He can see right into your soul. He's going to talk to us today about the gift and power of attention, and that's Richard Long.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Great, thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Brian. And this is really an honor to be here, the first weekend of spring. And so welcome. You have a lot of choices. It's our first weekend in the 70s. People freak out at San Luis Obispo County. It's in the 70s. I should have bought that air conditioning. So thank you for making the choice. And thank you, Richard. He always kind of gives me a challenge. He says, you better bring it. Because we're bringing it. You better be there. So, yeah, that's intimidating if you've ever been there. So I realize, though, it is always a good idea to talk on the Sunday that the choir sings. Because you know at least half the congregation is going to be here. So I'd like to talk this morning about what I consider one of the greatest gifts we can give someone, something. The gift of attention. Many people say time is the greatest gift, but I would argue time is the byproduct of giving your attention. In giving your attention, you give time. We literally make attention valuable by saying, hey, pay attention. But what are you paying with? You are paying with choosing from the thousands of things you could be doing. And the priority of being here during your valuable time and your presence. You are here today. You're here today here or online. Hi, online. I always want to look at, but hi, online. You are attending to the community. You are attending to this brilliant speaker. You are choosing to give the value of this present moment. The only moment of time there is to this. And you are literally paying for your attention. Because in a few minutes after my talk, the tithing basket will go around. Thank you in advance for paying for your attention. And remember, the board asked us to up our value of our attention 10% to pay for the increased costs and everything. And board members, you're welcome for doing that. So after my first talk on the 9 ways we pay attention, showing how the Enneagram looks at 9 different personalities and how they pay attention so differently, I brought up the spiritual principle of where our attention goes, our energy flows. What we pay attention to actually directs our life. Let me say that again. Our attention actually directs our life. It focuses what comes into our life. And today, I'd like to expand on this gift and the power of attention. New books and writings on attention and the enormous new value that technology and media have put upon our attention had me revisit this. And really how precious our attention is. And what I think is a serious spiritual battle for our attention. My first awareness of the power of attention came many, many years ago, back in the 70s. It's called the orange bug story. Anybody know the orange bug story? So, a person bought an orange VW bug. And they wanted to be different. They wanted to stand out. They wanted to be unique. You're going to get an orange bug. But driving home, what happened? They saw 5 other orange bugs, right? And they're swearing they've never seen an orange bug before. I'm sure we have our own orange bug stories, where we thought we were the only one wearing something and then everybody else is wearing that or whatever. That's the power of attention. It literally creates, it brings aspects of our life into being. Attention shapes our life for the better or for the worse. When we pay attention to positive things, we see positive things happening in our life. Conversely, when we pay attention to bad things, we see bad things in our life. We all know this. That's really kind of spiritual 101. But more than ever, we need to consciously pay attention to the flow and the energy flow of where we want to put it, or right now it's going to be placed for you. Donna and I have a large backyard, and it had been neglected for years, but it really did have good bones. We decided to plant only California natives, and that required removing and weeding the great majority of the plants that were growing. We didn't really understand the power of nature and the power of what is called the seed bank. Seeds that stay in the soil for up to 30 years, and they're ready to come up when that first rain comes, right? So over the years of planting, weeding, planting, weeding, planting, anybody with a garden knows what I mean. You have to really stay on top of it. Nature is relentless. So a few years ago, it became quite discouraging in the spring when nature was winning. And our vision of all California natives was not working the way we thought it could be. At that point, I decided rather than walking in the yard and putting my attention on what needed or had to be done, what needed or had to be weeded, to the gopher mounds, the skunk holes, all the work that had to be done, I started to look and appreciate what we had done and what California natives were actually working. I have to still consciously change my attention from seeing what has to be done to enjoying what we have. The things that needed to be done do not go away, but I don't have to focus on them. So right now, a small little ad. We'll take a break in the May 4th is World Labyrinth Day. So we are going to have another open house for the Labyrinth open house. Weeding tools are optional if you want to bring them. And so there will be more information to follow, but you're all invited. Our backyard is not going to be the Santa Barbara Botanical Gardens. And I have to remind myself of one of my favorite sayings. Comparison is the thief of joy. So what weeds do you have in your life that you are paying way, way too much attention to? What weeds keep your energy flowing in the wrong direction? Our attention is selective and limited on purpose. Our brain can only process a certain amount of data from the vast amount of input from our senses that we are receiving every second. That is called external attention. We have all these sensory things that our external attention is coming to us. what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we smell, what we taste. Plus we have internal attentions going on. Our thoughts, our feelings, our judgments, our choices, our ruminations, our worries, all that stuff is going on. And attention can be divided up into roughly two forms of attention. What is called the floodlight and the spotlight. When we are driving, we can be, part of our attention can be on the road, can be on the dashboard, it can be behind us, in front of us, around us. That's called the floodlight of attention. And at the same time, we may be engrossed in a conversation with our passenger right next to us, and that's a spotlight of attention. We have a lot of potential inputs for our attention. There are many books on distractions and the constant noise that says, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know, these things say it all the time. Actually, my contractor neighbor I was going, uh-oh, what does that mean? Look at me, look at me. A new industry has exploded in our lives. And this industry is called the attention merchants. And I'm not joking. Came out, there's books on it. If you look into it, it's amazing. The attention merchants are the media, especially social media, search engines, practically everything on the internet to try to claim our attention, just like Chad did. Just think of all the new media that has been created in the last 20 years. Cable, internet, podcasts, iTunes, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Spam, so all that good stuff. Yes, spam is a good one because that's not even anything. It's just, so there used to be just the big three, right? ABC, NBC, and CBS. We kind of had a limited amount of input coming into us. Now we have this vast amount. There is a fight for what attention merchants call our eyeballs. And by the way, I'm sure the majority of you know by now that if your app is free, what you are paying attention to is the product. Think about that for a minute. There are literally hundreds of companies buying data on what you pay attention to, being sold by Meta, Google, a lot of other companies. Like nature, they are relentless. Our attention, by the way, is much more valuable than you might think. Just ask advertising agencies. So now we know the power, the value of attention. How do we get the gift back? So how do we get back to what we want to pay attention to attend to? What can we do to get our energy flow in the direction we want? So let's start with the willful act of giving someone our full attention. We have to give up a lot to pay full attention. You have to willfully take away many of the external distractions, many of the internal distractions to give someone your full attention. And what I mean by that, you must understand that our bandwidth, our capacity of input is like this big. We have a ton of input. What I'm saying to you, what my output is only about this big. Does that make sense? There's a lot of other stuff inputting going on. Sorry, no, not the music. There's that big. So the capacity is only this big. So what we have to do is we have to take and consciously bring our capacity of our bandwidth down to focus on Peggy. I'm looking around and worried about Richard and what he might say later and whatever. But yeah, we have to change and that's really hard to do. The other way is it takes conscious effort to narrow our attention from all the distractions. Or you can say, we need to expand our present attention to others to fill the bandwidth, to fill the presence that we have with others, to be present only with them. Have you ever been with someone who seems to only pay attention to you? You are the only thing that matters, the only thing in front of you. Feels really good, huh? We need to concentrate our attention, slow down, focus on what and who is present right in front of us now. Make it a priority. An acknowledgement of paying attention to them is a form of love. Know that the floodlight of distractions is large. The spotlight of individual, undivided attention is the gift of love. Many experts report that what is lacking in the world right now is the feeling of being seen. Even with so many people all around, many people still have the feeling of being alone. No one is paying attention to them. I'm sure we all have felt that. So who or what can you pay more attention to? Because attention is the conduit through which the Spirit engages with the world. Pay attention to what feeds your soul. Pay attention fully and positively to what you want. And actively, conscientiously keep attention on it. Realize how important and what a gift it is when something or someone grabs your full attention. Attention sounds easy, but our attention is worth a lot. And don't let the attention merchants steal our attention away from us, because man, they are good at that. One psychologist called the gift of attention spiritual discernment, in that he meant that when we pay close attention to what makes us feel good, do good, we can learn to increase it. We can foster it. It allows us to direct us, to focus our life. Learn to discern all the inputs of life to what you value. When we direct our attention, we are channeling Spirit's vitality, becoming perfect, becoming fully present and aware. In a world bustling with distractions, nurturing our attention can lead to spiritual growth, ultimately enriching our lives by deepening our understanding, our compassion, and appreciation for this interconnectedness of all beings. So in conclusion, I have a prayer. I'd like to use it from the Reverend Rene Rossi. May we be generous with our gift of attention for the greater gift to all beings. May our attention uplift one another. May we spend our spiritual currency of attention well. May we realize just how valuable and powerful it is, and how valuable and powerful we are. So I'd like you to repeat after me. May we be generous with our gift of attention.
May we be generous with
our gift of attention. For the greater gift to all beings.
For the greater gift to all beings.
May our attention uplift one another.
May our attention uplift one another.
May we spend our spiritual currency of attention well.
May we spend our spiritual currency of attention well.
May we realize just how valuable and powerful it is.
May we realize just how valuable and powerful it is.
And just how valuable and powerful we are.
And just how valuable and powerful we are.
So, may we focus on the flowers and not on the weeds. So thank you for the honor of your attention.
Great.